Oh shoot, I'm sorry about that, you guys. It says, but I just lost my page. But the Fever star is continuing to take steps toward full strength. Fever coach Stephanie White told Indy Star on a Fever Insider podcast episode launching Wednesday this week. Clark isn't yet back playing 5-on-5, but she has been playing 2-on-2 and 3-on-3.
Wait a second, did you hear that right? Caitlin Clark isn't dealing with one injury. She's recovering from 3. A right groin strain, a left ankle sprain, and another groin issue that ended her season early. The Fever called it a week-to-week situation, but that phrase says more than it seems. It's not about optimism. It's about buying time, managing headlines, and shielding accountability. Because here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. How does the league's biggest star end up with 3 major injuries in one season? That's not random. That's a breakdown in management, in training, and in protection. And what's really happening behind closed doors could expose far more than anyone expects.
He's gearing up toward 5-on-5. Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever. I'm going to be real. I really wanted Caitlin Clark to train elsewhere with somebody else. I just don't trust the training with the Indiana Fever. I don't trust Stephanie White has the best interest of Caitlin Clark. I really don't. I don't think she knows how to utilize Caitlin Clark. I think she likes the idea of Caitlin Clark, but she's not comfortable with how she plays. Stephanie White likes a slow, methodical.
There it is. I don't trust the Indiana Fever's training program. And this isn't some wild hot take. It's a real concern backed by facts. Let's look at the timeline. Caitlin Clark suited up for just 13 games all season. 13. And now, during the crucial off-season, she's limited to 2-on-2 and 3-on-3 drills while the clock keeps ticking. Every day she's not in full contact 5-on-5 action, her edge dulls just a little more. But the real issue runs deeper. There's a growing disconnect. Stephanie White's coaching philosophy clashes with how Caitlin Clark actually plays the game. And that tension could define everything. Her 3rd season will either launch an MVP run or collapse into another injury-plagued setback.
She's like a college coach that likes to control the game from the sideline. And Caitlin Clark likes to get up and down, have that freedom, play that read and react system that we all have grown to love to watch her play. And Stephanie White is just not, she's just not super fond of it. She's just not super fond of it. It's not her thing. So I am concerned with Stephanie White being Caitlin Clark's coach going forward, to be honest. But
she likes the idea of Caitlin Clark, but not the way she plays. Think about that. The supposed leader of the Indiana Fever isn't fully on board with the playing style of the league's biggest star. Stephanie White wants structure, slow, methodical offense. Clark lives in motion, thriving in chaos, transition, and improvisation. That's not a minor clash. It's a core incompatibility. When you force an instinctive, free-flowing player into rigid systems, their body pays the price. Those groin tweaks and ankle sprains? They're not random. They're the physical toll of restriction. Clark's brilliance comes from instinct, rhythm, and freedom. Yet the Fever's system, and even their roster moves, suggest they still don't understand the generational player standing right in front of them.
The Indiana Fever will win the title because I don't trust Amber Cox and Kelly Crosskoff and Stephanie White to pick the right pieces. We saw all the mistakes they made last season, going and giving DeWanna Bonner a max contract, who was terrible for majority of the year, not just with Indiana, but with Phoenix too. She was terrible a lot of the time. Giving Natasha Howard a max contract, promising her things. You got her coming over here thinking she gonna win MVP and all types of nonsense. So although I do not trust them.
Did you catch that roster construction? DeWanna Bonner landed a max deal and underperformed for most of the season. Natasha Howard got the same treatment, hyped with empty MVP talk. That's not team building. That's dysfunction dressed up as direction. With a generational player like Caitlin Clark, every roster move should enhance her strengths. Instead, Indiana invested in aging veterans while their 22-year-old star played hurt. That's not strategy, that's negligence. And when you dig into Clark's injury timeline, it paints an even darker picture of how poorly the league and the Fever have managed their most valuable player.
Conclusion of Indiana Fever Caitlin Clark, second season, while she remains the franchise centerpiece for the Indiana Fever, one of the faces of the league, not one of the faces, the face. It was a year Clark will likely want to put behind her as it was plagued by injuries. Clark appeared in just 13 games. While she was productive during that stretch, she never fully gained her health. She dealt with an injury during the preseason, suffered a groin injury early that year that caused her to miss time, then suffered another groin injury prior to All-Star break that ultimately ended her season, on top of the ankle injury. Now, with 5-on-5 activities set to begin this month, Clark can use the offseason to return to full form. She already has several exciting developments planned.
Listen to this pattern closely. She dealt with an injury in preseason. Then a groin issue early in the year forced her to miss games. Another groin injury struck before the All-Star break, ending her season. Add the ankle sprain. That's 4 separate injuries in 1 year. 4. This isn't about fragility. It's about mismanagement. The alarming part? It began before the season even tipped off. The warning signs were there. The medical staff knew. The coaches knew. Yet they kept forcing her into a system that strained her body instead of protecting it. And when you link that to the earlier concerns about Stephanie White's training methods, the pattern becomes undeniable. The Fever ignored every signal, and now they're paying the price.
That she's about to be doing some 5-on-5, I think it's very much needed. Like I said, I think that this year Caitlin Clark needed to offseason. She needs to be playing 5-on-5 somewhere and not just doing that one-on-one individual stuff. You know what I mean? So this is a big deal. It's a big deal, man. And I can't wait for her to be
I want Caitlin Clark training somewhere else, with someone who actually understands how to maximize her game. That statement alone should have set off alarms. When fans start wondering if their franchise star should avoid the team's own training program, that's not criticism. That's a confidence crisis. And the concern is justified. Other generational players spend their off-seasons in pro-am runs, battling elite competition, sharpening instincts. Meanwhile, Clark's stuck in controlled 2-on-2 workouts in late October. The disconnect between what she needs and what she's getting keeps growing wider. But here's the twist. The new officiating standards set for her 3rd year might finally give her room to play her natural game again. And that could save her career.
You see how the finals was officiated differently. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The finals definitely was officiated differently. They was calling a lot of fouls. You saw now Asia Wilson. She has a different type of whistle. 19 free throws. She shot more free throws than the Phoenix Mercury entire team. But they definitely started to call more fouls in the finals for sure. And I think going forward, that's going to be a point of emphasis for the refs to eliminate a lot of the physicality and to call the game tighter. And I think that benefits Caitlin Clark because, just as a viewer, nobody wants to watch these girls run around roughhouse.
You could see it in the finals. The refs started calling more fouls, cutting down on all that unnecessary physicality. And that shift could change everything. Caitlin Clark's injury issues weren't just about training or coaching. They were about the relentless physical punishment she took all year. When the league lets defenders play football on the court, skill players pay the price. Aja Wilson shot 19 free throws in one finals game, not because she suddenly got more aggressive, but because officials finally started protecting offensive players. If that whistle carries into next season, Clark's entire game opens up. No more getting hacked on drives. No more shoulder checks on jumpers. Her efficiency soars. Her body stays healthy. But standing between her and that MVP leap is a coaching philosophy still trapped in the past.
And I think Adam Silver will see to it. I don't believe in Kathy Engelberg. I don't trust her. But I believe that Adam Silver will step in and get this deal done, and we will have a 2026 season. I also believe
Adam Silver will step in and make sure a deal gets done so we have a 2026 season. Wait, hold on. This isn't about 2026. This is about the current CBA negotiations that could determine whether there's even a 2025 season. The players are demanding guaranteed contracts, fair pay, and upgraded travel standards, things long overdue. But if these talks fall apart, Caitlin Clark's entire third season could disappear before it even begins. All those comeback timelines and off-season plans, they mean nothing without a league to return to. The pressure on Adam Silver is immense because everyone understands the reality. The WNBA's meteoric rise in popularity has one face, Caitlin Clark. Without her playing, the ratings crash, the casual fans vanish, and corporate sponsors quietly back out. Silver doesn't just need to finalize a deal, he needs to protect the league's only true growth engine. But there's a deeper complication forming behind the scenes that no one's talking about yet.
Obviously only played in 13 games last year, basically missed a full season of play. We had to watch everybody else try to do their thing, and we saw some good players, but nothing is as spectacular as seeing CeCe on the court doing her thing, loading up logo bombs, throwing those wild assists, getting those triple doubles, putting on a show for the people. We missed that. She's one step closer to making her big return.
She only played 13 games last year, essentially missing an entire season. Fans were left watching everyone else try to carry the spotlight. Sure, there were solid performances, but nothing that truly captured attention. And that's the uncomfortable truth exposing the WNBA's biggest flaw. For years, the league tried to build stars, nurture talent, and craft storylines. Then Caitlin Clark arrived and revealed how little of it resonated beyond the core fan base. The moment she went down, ratings plummeted, attendance dipped, and social media fell silent. It's not that other players lack skill, it's that none of them command culture the way she does. Now the entire league's financial health hinges on keeping one 22-year-old player upright and engaged. The pressure on Indiana's front office isn't just heavy, it's existential.
CeCe on the court, doing her thing, loading up logo bombs, throwing those wild assists, getting those triple doubles, putting on a show for the people. We missed that. She's one step closer to making her big return.
Logo bombs, behind-the-back assists, triple doubles. Pure basketball theater. That's what we miss. Caitlin Clark isn't just a stat machine. She's a performer in motion. Every game feels like an event. Every possession carries that electric, what might happen next energy. You can't coach that. You can't simulate that. It's instinct, creativity, and confidence colliding in real time. That's what makes her generational. But when that kind of brilliance is boxed in by rigid systems or derailed by injury, the loss ripples far beyond one player. The fans lose their show. The league loses momentum. And Clark risks losing the best years of her career to a system that doesn't fully understand her gift. So now the question becomes unavoidable. Can the Indiana Fever actually construct a true championship team around Caitlin Clark's unique brilliance? Or are they slowly wasting the most transformative talent women's basketball has ever seen?
I believe Caitlin Clark is going to have an MVP-type season. I just believe that. I believe the GOAT is about to show up and show.
I believe Caitlin Clark is about to have an MVP caliber season. I truly do. There's the bold prediction, MVP in year 3. But here's what's more revealing. No one's predicting a championship. That silence speaks volumes. It's the unspoken acknowledgement that individual greatness and team success aren't aligned in Indiana. Caitlin can light up the league, shatter records, and collect every personal award. But if the Fever keep doubling down on bad roster moves, if Stephanie White's system keeps restricting her natural flow, and if the training staff can't keep her healthy, all that brilliance will be wasted. The tragic truth? The championship window is already narrowing. Most generational players win their first title by year 5 or 6. Clark's heading into year 3, and Indiana hasn't even built a foundation worthy of her. The question isn't about her greatness. That's guaranteed. It's whether the Fever deserve her. When she's cleared for full 5-on-5 play, something has to give. Will the system finally evolve around her, or will she be forced to adapt again, risking her body and her legacy in the process? The clock is ticking, and the league's future might just hinge on how this next chapter unfolds.